Hello everyone and welcome to another riveting episode of Call of Duty Black Ops Zombie Mode Weapons List. My name is Galucia and there's quite a bit of pistols, the M1911, CZ75 and the dual wield, the Python, which is basically the Magnum, the infamous ray gun, and then the mysterious freeze gun, which I don't really think exists, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So, let's get started. Okay, the M1911 is of course the pistol that you start with. It's a semi-auto, holds 8 rounds and only takes 2 seconds to reload. This upgrades to the Mustang and Sally, which has a smaller round capacity but is dual wield and is essentially a grenade launcher. Obviously this is the weakest gun in the game and is pretty much just used for the first 2 rounds. At least I only use it for the first 2 rounds. But if you hold on to it long enough and you want to try to upgrade it, it turns it into essentially the same weapons that you use when you're killed and you have quick revive in solo play. They're dual wield and grenade launchers, but like all other grenade launchers, they can also hurt yourself. And due to the semi-automatic and dual wielding nature of the weapons, they can be very dangerous and easy to kill yourself. Definitely wouldn't recommend upgrading this weapon. The Python is a semi-automatic revolver. It holds up to 6 rounds and takes 7 seconds to reload all the rounds. It's 1 second per round plus 1 second to close the revolver. So if you were loading 3 rounds, it would take 4 seconds. It upgrades to the Cobra, which holds more rounds, does more damage, and also has a speed reloader, so all the rounds are loaded in the barrel in one swift movement. The Python is definitely one of the stronger pistols, probably second only to the ray gun. The reload speed does make it a little precarious, and in high volume situations where you have a lot of zombies, it's probably not the way to go. But it makes a good secondary weapon for cleaning up the zombies at the end of the rounds, like you're watching me doing right here. So you can conserve rounds on your main weapon. It's very effective against dogs, and I would say until like the very late rounds, it's a one hit for dogs, and it's usually a one hit for the zombies up until maybe round 15. But I would say during the dog rounds, I don't have to use my main weapon at all. So it's a really good way to conserve rounds for your main weapon, but definitely after round 15 loses its effectiveness for the most part, and definitely wouldn't hack it for a main weapon. The CZ75 is a semi-auto pistol. It holds 15 rounds and takes about 2.5 seconds to reload. This upgrades to the Calamity. The upgrade does more damage and is fully auto. The CZ75 was actually a big surprise for me. I like that it holds 15 rounds. It's a good ammo capacity for a pistol. As you see me sprinting here, I like the mobility of it. I like that I can run around very quickly with this. It's good for getting away from zombies. And you'll see right there, I'm in round 13. That was a 2-shot. Now here I'm kind of like running backwards and shooting, so it takes a lot more rounds. But yeah, I don't know. This weapon, it's pretty powerful. I was surprised. For what would seem like a regular pistol, it's pretty powerful. Now, the upgrade is going to make it fully auto, and it does more damage. What it doesn't do is increase the ammo capacity. And if you have a fully auto weapon with 15 rounds, to me that's ridiculous. Even the smallest round capacity in like an SMG is 20 rounds unupgraded. 15 rounds just is not enough. I guess it kind of works as a side piece. I like that you can pull pistols out really quickly. And the increase of damage does help. So when you're talking about it being fully auto, it will drop zombies in later rounds, but it's definitely like a last minute resort kind of thing because, yeah, 15 rounds. So, I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend it for the later rounds, but it's an okay weapon. The CZ75 dual wield has 12 rounds per gun with about a 2.5 second reload time. Now this upgrades to the Calamity and Jane, which has a larger ammo capacity, increased damage, and it makes them fully auto. Like most pistols, these are pretty effective in the early rounds, but after round 10, they lose their effectiveness. Now, unlike their single CZ75 counterpart, these are highly inaccurate due to the dual wield of this. They can be a little destructive. As you can see here, it's usually 4 shots maybe, but yeah, round 10, pretty much useless. Now, the upgrade to these, if you were a player of Modern Warfare 2, which pretty much everyone was, they kind of play like the dual-wield G18, which pretty much, you know, if you played it, you either used it or saw a lot of that. They can be pretty devastating. The magazines are a lot bigger, but it's still, yeah, after, even with the upgrade, I would say after round 12, it loses its effectiveness. But like most pistols, it's a nice second piece to have, and they can be a lot of fun. Just not recommended for the later rounds. The ray gun is sort of an old school sci-fi movie laser pistol. Reminds me of like the old school like 30s sci-fi movies. It holds 20 rounds and takes just a little bit over 4 seconds to reload. Now it upgrades to the Porter's X2 ray gun, which holds 40 rounds and does more damage. The ray gun is definitely one of those weapons that when it comes out of the box, you're just super excited and can't wait to start using it. It's pretty much a one-shot all the way up until round 18. That's when I first start noticing that it's not going to one-shot anymore. Definitely a very devastating weapon, and not only is it the most powerful pistol by far, it's the most powerful weapon in the game, at least in my opinion. Maybe the only thing that might be more powerful would be the Thunder Gun, only because it does damage. It doesn't really do damage, but it just, you know, obliterates multiple zombies, and this is more of a one zombie kill, especially after round 10. Before that, it kind of like the burst from the ray will kill multiple zombies, but I mean, even right there, you see in a completely surrounded situation with the Juggernaut, I'm still able to shoot my way through and make it to safety. Very, very powerful weapon. Now, as if this weapon wasn't powerful enough as it is, the upgraded ray gun is even more devastating. It's, for what it's worth, it's actually, I think it's way cooler looking, not just because of the gun itself, but the rays become red. I think it's a really entertaining and satisfying kill. It's still not a one-shot after round 18, but what I've noticed is with the regular ray gun, after round 20 or higher, a two-shot is even sometimes not the case, and ends up being a three-shot weapon for a lot of zombies, whereas the upgraded ray gun is pretty consistently a two-shot and sometimes a one-shot. Because after round 20, even the ray gun is going to end up being, even with a headshot, the regular ray gun is going to be a two-shot a lot of times. So, much more powerful weapon, and the larger capacity is a lifesaver. With the reload time, especially if you can't get to the speed cola, like you see here, I couldn't get to the speed cola. But with 40 rounds, that's a lot of zombies that you're going to be able to kill before you have to worry about reloading, so you should be able to make it through each round with this. As long as you can maintain this weapon, you should survive. Alright, so the only weapon that we didn't talk about for the pistols was the freeze ray. It's only available in 5, and this is more of a guide for Kino der Toten, and I don't play 5. So, I kind of had to skip that one, but if you want to put a description of it in the comments if you're familiar with it, by all means go ahead, and the other viewers will be able to read that. Okay, so the pistols have their uses. I like that they're light, so as long as I have that out, I'm able to sprint a lot faster. It's good for getting away. You can pull it out very quickly, so if your main weapon runs out of ammo and you don't have time to reload, it's really easy to pull it out. But after round 15, other than the ray gun, the pistols, even upgraded, just aren't going to have the power that you need. So a decent secondary, but you definitely can't use it for a main. But yeah, so there's the pistol video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And there will be more to come. So keep watching, and I'll keep making them. Laters.